And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Well, taking a look at today's satellite imagery, definitely two main features on the chart are these two lows right here. Another one near Sand Point and then southeast of Kodiak Island. This one winding up pretty good this afternoon, and a lot of clouds and rain and wind here moving into the southeast coast. Some of that swinging back to the east here along the North Gulf Coast, and with areas of showers across south central Alaska. Fair amount of clearing here in the west and up to the north, and then a lot of clouds and showers out over the central and eastern Bering Sea with better conditions out to the west. And taking a look at tonight's forecast, those two low centers actually kind of more or less merged together and moved to the east here south of Cape St. Elias over the Gulf of Alaska. Front moves in, wind, rain into the southeast coast. Another development back here tomorrow swings up into the, not tomorrow, this is for tomorrow, not tonight, this is for tomorrow. And then for Sunday, we've got a trough as that front swings into Canada. Let me back that up again. This trough moves up to the southeast coast, and then another even stronger storm developing down here. It could be a pretty good wind producer as it pulls northward off the coast Sunday night and early Monday. You have to watch that and see exactly how well it develops. And for the coastal water forecast for tomorrow, Saturday, south winds 20 to 25 knots. Lighter winds on the north coast from the southeast to east-northeast at 15 to 20, seas up to 10 feet there, and as high as 11 feet, or 11 to 12 feet here farther to the south. North winds at 15 for Lynn Canal, southeast 20 for Stevens Passage and Clarence Strait. And for Sunday, gale warnings here on the south coast for southwest winds 35 knots, seas 16 feet. Gale warnings also for Clarence Strait, south winds 35 knots with 10-foot seas. Otherwise, Stevens Passage, Lynn Canal, southeast at 20. Small craft advisories on the north coast for south to southeast winds, in some cases east here for the extreme north coast. All these areas running 20 to 30 knots. And then for Prince William Sound, north winds at 10 knots tomorrow, north to northeast at 15 knots for the North Gulf Coast. And for Cook Inlet, light variable winds here north of the Forelands. The southern inlet looking at a light northwest breeze at 10 knots and small craft advisories for west winds at 25, Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands. And for Sunday, for Cook Inlet, north winds 10 to 15 knots, northwest 25 to 30 knot winds here for the Barren Islands and Kamishak Bay. So certainly small craft advisories for those marine areas. But light winds for Prince William Sound, east at 10 knots, seas 2 feet. And for the North Gulf Coast, generally an east wind from varying directions there at 15 to 20 knots with 5 to 7 foot seas. Kodiak Island, west-northwesterlies tomorrow at 25 knots. Bristol Bay, west winds 25 knots. The Alaska Peninsula, west winds at 25 knots. And for Sunday, even stronger winds out in these areas, 30 knots from the west-northwest for the Alaska Peninsula with seas running 9 to 10 feet. And for Bristol Bay, northwest at 30 knots, seas 9 feet, and 25 knot westerlies for Kodiak Island. For the eastern and central Aleutians tomorrow, west winds at 20 knots. And for the western Aleutians around Amchitka Island, west to northwest at 15, and then those winds from Kiska to Shemya, light and variable at 10 knots with seas at 5 feet. And then for Sunday, Kiska to Shemya, south to southwest winds 20 to 25 knots, otherwise variable at 10 to 15 for Amchitka Island. And for Adak and Atka, west winds 20 knots, small craft advisories for the eastern Aleutians for west-northwesterlies at 25 knots. And for the southwest coast here, we've got northwest winds, south of Nunivak Island at 25 knots, Yukon Delta coast looking at north at 20, north 20 for St. Lawrence Island, north 15 for Norton Sound. Small craft advisories for the Pribilofs tomorrow, northwest 25, seas at about 6 feet, north at 20 with 5-foot seas for St. Matthew Island. And for Sunday, northwest winds 25 knots for both St. Paul and St. George Islands, west at 20 for St. Matthew Island. Small craft advisories for St. Lawrence Island and the southwest coast. Northwesterlies through this area at 25 to 30 knots with 5-foot seas. Norton Sound north at 20. And for the eastern Bulwark Sea coast, small craft advisories here for the extreme east side there at 25 knots from the west, 20 knots from the west for the central east side, and then the central coast northwest at 15, and the Chukchi, or the western Arctic coast northeast 15 to 25 knots, and the Chukchi Sea north winds at 25 knots with seas up to 7 feet. And then for Sunday, we've got west winds of 15 knots for the central and eastern Arctic coast with 4 to 5 foot seas there, northwest at 10 for the western coast, and northerlies at 20 to 25 knots with seas 4 to 6 feet for the Chukchi Sea.